guys, and welcome to this 8th episode of my Computercraft tutorial series. In this episode I'm going to do a progression bar, go more in depth on how to do that on a monitor or a terminal, as I've gotten some suggestions to do that. So let's get to it. Let's make a program called GUI, and then we want to wrap the monitor on top first. So mon equals peripheral.wrap top, which you've seen multiple times before. Then we do a mon x and mon y equals mon get size, so that we could create this progress bar more dynamic, so it doesn't really need to be a specific size. So then we can get the size from these variables instead. And then we'll make a function which can clear the monitor. So set background colors.black, and we want to clear and set the cursor position to 1 1. The reason why I changed the colors to black here is because as we're going to change this color with the progress bar, and then we clear the screen without doing this, and this screen may turn another color, and we don't want that. We want it to stay black. Okay, and then let's make a function to draw some text, because I don't want to write everything with the progress bar in the same function, because then the progress bar function gets really long and complicated looking. So I just cut it up to smaller parts. So first let's have some text, which gonna be in x and y position with some text. It's gonna have a text color and it's gonna have a background color. So first we set the background color to a background color, then we set text color to a text color, then we set the cursor position to x and y, and then we write the text. So nothing really fancy with this function, it just simplifies the amount of code needed to write some text with a specific color, background color, and on a position. So let's test this out. So let's write it on x1 line 5, and we want it to write hello YouTube with let's have it gray color with red background. Why not? So there you see, gray color and red background. Then we could also test our clear function just to see if that works, and yep, it works. Okay, so now let's make the next function, which will be a function that draws a line with a specific background color. We want it to have an x and y, we want size, we want the length. Actually, let's put the length first. Size doesn't really matter, but I just like it this way. And we want the color of the line. So let's just call it color.bar. That should be it, I believe. Yep. So then let's create an for loop. So for y pos equals y to y plus size minus 1, 2. So what this does is basically sets this index value of the for loop to be y pos. So the position we will use for up and down. It will start at the y pos you give it and end at the position you give it plus the size minus 1. So then we could have a dynamic size on this length or this line. So let's set the background color of the line to the background color we wanted. Then let's set the cursor position to x and the y pos we just created. And then we write something. And here, to make this easy, we will use an inbuilt function called string rep or string repeat. And I need to supply this with whatever I want to write multiple times. So I can have like a dot and it will write a dot like three times. So with this, yeah, I would write a dot 3 times. But I don't want that. I want just to write the background color with nothing in it. So then I just do a space. And I want this to be dynamic. So I'll use this length here, which we supplied. So that should be everything needed for that line. So now let's test that function. So let's create this on line 2. No, not line 2, but yeah, a little bit in on the screen, and on line 1 with a length of 30. We want to have a size of 3. We want the color to be gray. So worked nicely. So now let's just change this up a little bit. So let's move this down to 5. Let's change the length to twice as small, the size to 1. That worked pretty good. Then let's change it up again with size of 2 and 10. So there you see, it's pretty neat and pretty easy to use. And this function we'll be using in our progression bar because it makes it a lot easier. So let's just call it draw prog. We want to supply to an x and y coordinate, obviously. We want the length of the progress bar. We want the size of the progress bar. We want the value we're drawing a progress bar of, and the maximum value with that value. We want the color of the bar, and we want the color of the background of the bar. So a lot of input there. Okay, so first we want to draw the background of our progress bar. That's simple. We just use our line function, give it an x and y, which we give here. We already have the length, and we have the size, and we have also the background color, which is color background. So that's all we need to do the background color of the progress bar. So basically just draw a line. And then we need to calculate the length of the actual progress bar. So let's create a variable for that. Just call it bar size. And then we want to round this number we calculate. And by doing math.floor, you don't really need to do that. I just like to do that to make the number neat and not in decimals. And then another parentheses, and then we need to do minimum value divided by maximum value, and we times those with the length of our progress bar. So then we convert the percentage to correct screen positions. Okay. Then we do the draw line again with an x and a y, and instead of using length here, we have to use the bar size, which we just calculated, and then the size and the color of the bar, like so. So that's pretty easy. So let's now create or just clear the screen, and let's draw this progress bar in the program, so we don't have to remember all these inputs because we don't want that. So let's create the progress bar at x2 and at our line 2 with a length of let's create this dynamic so we can see what this is a good practice to do. So then we could do mon x, so length this way minus 2, because we start at x2 and we want to stop 1 before the actual end of this monitor. Let's make the size 3 and minimum value of 50 and the maximum value of 100, and the color of the bar to be green and the color of the background to be gray. And the reason I just use 50 here is because this should be half if the calculation is correct, so it's easy to see if it is correct. So yeah, that looks like it's in the middle, and it also worked nicely on the screen. So for example, if I remove some of this and rerun the GUI again, you see here it changed everything and now it's in the middle. So pretty neat. And if I do that again, it changed again. So really, really handy. Okay, so now let's draw some text, or actually let's test this all the way so we can see that it actually works. So and we could just do a simple for loop, so for I equals 1 to 102. Oops, I didn't want that 0 there. And then we just use that index number in this one. Oops, that was way too fast. Forgot to add a little sleep thingy. Let's just do it like that. So there you see, works nicely. And we'll hit the top and yeah, it will just stop there. Yeah, it would yeah. Okay, so let's make this progress bar a little bit more fancy with drawing text. So we could use this draw text thing. So let's actually give this progress bar a new input as well. Let's give it a name. So we can like, if this water, you could have water. If it's lava and stuff like that. And then we want to yeah, do some calculations on this, because let's make the text in the middle of this progress bar. Yeah, let's actually not do that first. Let's just create it in the middle first, and then we'll do what I was thinking later. Okay, so let's make a function called text, and that will be name with a space between, and then we want to have the percentage. So again, do math.floor minimum value divided by maximum value times 100 this time, so we get the correct percentage, like so. And then we want a percentage sign on the end, like that. Okay, and the reason why I create variable here is because now I can get the length of this text and yeah, just make it much better. So draw text, we want to draw the text on x, it should be mon x divided by 2. So now it goes in the middle here, but I also want to let's just show what happens with this first. So y plus should be y plus size divided by 2, so it gets on the y, and then added size divided by 2, so it should placed in the middle of this progress bar. Then we want to have the actual text, which is the text we created here. Then we want the color of the text, which should be yeah, let's make it black because that works nicely on green, and the background to be green. Okay, so that should be it. So now let's create this thing again. Let's create it at 2, y position 5, name to be test. Length to be 1x minus 2 as we did before. Size to be 3. Minimum value to be 50. Maximum value to be 100. Let's just create this like that instead. 100 and bar to be green and that to be gray. Did I do everything now? Oh, yeah, probably. So like that. So now you see it's almost centered in the middle. It's not completely, because when I put it in the middle I didn't calculate the length of this text. So I want to calculate half of this and subtract it with the value I get here. So yeah, let's just show that in code. Easier. Okay, so first here I get the center of the screen. Then I want to subtract that from the length of the text. So with doing this, then you get an amount of letters in this text, and I want to divide that by 2 as well, because I don't want to subtract the entire text. I just want to subtract half of it so it gets centered. So now it's much better. Not completely, actually. And yeah, let's just add something here. Yeah, let's just add like how many? 3. It should have centered it better, but yeah, I don't know. Probably something I'm overseeing. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. You could just add here if you wanted. Okay, so now it's the other thing I was kind of thinking about, which I didn't do before. You see here that the background of this text is green, because yeah, when this progress bar gets longer it will look nicer, but now it doesn't look that nice. So what I usually do to fix this is at the beginning I want the text to be in the middle. I want it to be the same color as this background and stay like that. And eventually when this progress gets big enough so this text will fit in here, then I will move this text in with this progress bar, following this progress bar an entire way with a green background, so then it will continue ticking when it goes up. And then when the text will fit in the middle and the progress bar is bigger, then I want it centered with green background. So a lot of stuff, but let's get to that. Okay, so first we want to check if the text will fit in the center and the progress bar is bigger than that. So if bar size is greater than mon x divided by 2 minus text divided by 2 plus 2, so basically the same as here. And then we need to add the other part here. So now it will center it, and it will center the text kind of. So no, that's not what I want. Sorry. Sorry. Okay, so first I want to center the text, then I want to add the text divided by 2 instead. So now it will center it, then it will add half of the text. So if bar size have gotten this far, then I want this text to be centered. So there. Else, if that isn't the case, then I just want to check if bar size is greater than the length of the text. Then we know that we can place the text inside here. And else, and that's probably the only thing we need. So else, if it doesn't fit in here, then I want to write it in the center. Okay, so if that's the case, then I want to basically do the part down here. So let's just copy that. Like so. Let's just remove this part as well. Okay, so that should hopefully do the trick. Then we want to create this one, which we will draw the text on X, should be the X position, plus bar size. And let's make this calculate first. And then we subtract that by the length of our text. So yeah, it will kind of follow the bar size all the time. We want the Y position to be the same as before. And we want to draw the text. We want this one also to be pretty much the same colors, not gray, green. Okay, so hopefully that will do. And if that isn't the case either, we want to draw it in the center of the screen. So basically the same as this one. X2, and this time we want to, yeah, not actually the same. Oh yeah, it's actually the same. I was looking at the one above, +2, y plus size times 2. We want it to be text, and we want it to be black, but this time we want the colors to be gray, so it have the same color as the background. And actually, let's not put this to be like I did here, because then it won't be dynamic. We want to use the values above here, so this will be color.background. I could actually just use my mouse pointer, but yeah. And it isn't colors, it's color. This will be bar. And this will also be bar. So now I'll use these variables instead of writing it manually. So hopefully I did everything correct here. So yeah, now it is following. So now let's test it out, the entire process. So for y equals 1 to 100, do same as before. We want this value to be the index value. We want to sleep for like 0.1 second and then end. So there we have it. Now it looks nice and everything is working correctly. So hopefully you liked this tutorial and maybe you understood better how to do progression bars. And yeah, if you have any other suggestions on things you want to learn more of, I could probably do a video. So please comment and subscribe, and see you later.